This video today is going to be about the top 5 mistakes people make when they embark on a cleanse or a detox or anything they think is going to reset the body. Now, I'm so excited to be able to share these 5 mistakes with you while I prepare one of my favorite soups. Now, I love it because I'm gonna make this soup. This is a soup that would not be on a cleanse of mine, even though it consists of all yummy vegetables. And so I'm really excited to share with you all of that. I'm gonna also weave in things like leaky gut, leaky brain, stress. Stress is gonna be the main focus here today because of what stress does to the body. So if we want to do a detox, if we want to get our system reset and a cleanse, well, more than likely, if you're a stressed out person, this is going to stress you out. And then you're going to be more stressed out. And then it doesn't matter if you're eating good, bad, whatever. Like, there really is not a good and a bad at that point because of what is literally going on in your systems and in your gut. And I just want you to know that your body has the potential to tell you everything it needs, to tell you everything it does not need, as well as it has the capability to heal itself. Now, we still need outside sources when it comes to food. So this is part of the evolution of the human. I don't know how long it's going to take until we don't need food anymore. But just really studying the evolution as well of the human body and understanding what it is that you are doing to yourself on this gut level, on this brain level when it comes to stress. Okay? And so as much as you're gonna want to not embark on a cleanse because you're already stressed, it's just gonna create more stress for you. And then you know how you behave when you have to eat proper and take care of yourself. Then you get frustrated, you get resentful, you feel guilt and shame because here you are now taking care of your body and everybody else is getting neglected. We're going to tackle that. That's something that needs to be tackled now because that's what is creating a biofeedback loop for you to stay in perpetual stress. And I'm telling you, coming from someone who loved stress. I thrived off of stress. Stress was always such a dominant excuse. Overwhelm, a dominant excuse for me. Well, those things did not serve my body. Those things actually created a stagnant digestive system, as well as created an autoimmune disease within me at a very young age when it wasn't well known about gut health and stress and how that affects your health the way it's known now. It's pretty amazing because that was after my first son was even born. And so we've come a long ways So I have been through so much, and if you know me, I am Brooke. I am a way shower. I'm going to be doing a cleanse, and I am so good at cleanses. I have done them for so long, but I have never felt so magnetized to really engage and help other women with this type of a cleanse, because the women I work with are all stressed out and use stress as an excuse. And the thing is they love their occupations, so there is even more of an excuse. They're still doing what they love. They don't have to take time to take care of their intestinal system and, anything. Number one thing that causes leaky gut is stress. So how do you know if you have a leaky gut? Well, do you have any sort of acid reflux? Do you feel any acid? Do you feel bloating? Do you feel uncomfortable? Do you feel like you cannot control yourself and your cravings? Do you feel like you have like food allergies? So for me, a little backstory is I started to learn all of this stuff when I went to health coaching school. Now, my health coaching school first, we saw everything as a full-on holistic approach, but focused on two main things, and that is the brain and the nervous system. The brain and the nervous system, those two things. Now, our nervous system is our emotional system, is where that is as well. Okay, so our nervous system is part of the fight, flight, or freeze, but it's just the things that are going on a natural level you don't think about, okay? Breathing, swallowing, like anything, and your digestion is part of your nervous system because it's doing these things automatically. So it's an automatic nervous system, right? Autonomic is what it is. But for me, where I like to look at for women is, it's quite simple. Okay, so all you got to know about the nervous system is when it comes to healing and utilizing the healing of the nervous system, is there is a rest and digest state, or there is a fight, flight, or freeze state. And one is turned on and one is turned off. One is turned off, one is turned on. Okay, so we have full control over turning the rest and digest state on in our body. But it actually, because we're so used to just chronic low-grade stress, we don't know that we're in a state of fight, flight, or freeze, which in that state of the fight, flight, or freeze versus the rest and digest, your digestive system shuts down. It shuts down completely. Well, how do you know you are in the fight, flight, or freeze state? You're stressed. You have overwhelm. You worry. That's going to just put you in that state. And it's a biofeedback loop that continues to strengthen that part of you. Now, when we get to focus on who we are being when we are eating, as well as the energetics of food, because each food carries a certain energy, and making sure you're keeping your energy high due to the foods you are eating. especially if you're eating either super blissful foods or super grounding foods. Really recognizing the energy behind food in order to create a balance. Well, when we are in the fight, flight, or freeze state, I want to keep saying fright, then our blood sugar levels are going all over the place. Now, this affects our mood. So do you want to feel better? Do you want to behave better? Do you want to make better choices? Do you want to reflect versus react? Pounce. All of those things can be found within food. So all of the learning and knowing about who you are and where you are at can be found within the food you eat. So that's one thing that I like about this cleanse that I bring people through. Now, for me, the main thing, some of the main things of the cleanse that keep me coming back is, one, I see everything as in one single cell. So what you see here, I see individual cells. And in that individual cell, what is important to me is how much toxins are in there, how much toxins are floating around in there, how much toxins are embedded in there, how much toxins are out of like the fat portion floating around needing to be excreted instead of floating around in your system. Okay, so just a little bit of basics about why you should really start to learn this stuff and why you should take your power back. Take your power back in listening to your whole self, your body, your mind, your spirit, everything. What works for you, what doesn't work for you, all of that. No more outsourcing, nothing. The way we do this is we find out what your way is. You get to do your cleanse your way. And that is so much fun. So I see the dirt in the cell. We got to get rid of that. But here's the thing. We have a lining. And it's pretty much the same lining in our gut and in our brain, right? And so there are things in our gut that are not supposed to get out of the gut. They need to stay in there because they're killing bacteria. Like, they're doing an amazing job in there. So we want it, but we don't want it outside of that stomach. But stress, let alone all the other food and the chemicals and things like that, just stress, just take stress for example. Stress will start to loosen that lining, okay? And then what happens is serious toxic material gets out into your system. And that toxicness travels right to your brain. And now your brain has a barrier. And your brain, this stuff is seeping into your brain that's in your gut. It's going into your brain and making it susceptible to depression, anxiety, disease, you name it, everything comes down to this. And one of the big things is that I started the reason why I was so passionate about this and learned about this in 2017 and the brain and learning about the how much we can prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. And I'm going to tell you, we don't have enough people to take care of the people that are going to have Alzheimer's and dementia. So we need to get off of this biofeedback loop, and your body is amazing. Okay? So I recommend going with it. Let's flow. I'm going to start to cut up some vegetables. I knew I would do this, but I have to do more than one thing at a time. And so the 5 mistakes that people make, starting with 1, the diet mentality. Okay, I'm cutting out mushrooms. No, I would eat mushrooms on a cleanse. And it usually comes from loathing the body. This time of year, oh my God, you've been able to, cover up and wear baggy clothes. Now you want to go put on your shorts and your tank tops, and they just don't fit like they did, and you feel really uncomfortable, and then you're really angry at yourself, and you are like, I gotta go on a cleanse. I gotta go on a cleanse. Instead of coming at it as a therapeutic effect to your mind, body, and soul. It is possible, especially if you have the right cleanse. Okay? And really having a full-on intention. And so, hearing me say these things about disease and leaky gut and why it would be important, and that it's caused by stress. Set an intention, right? You never have to lose weight. You never have to lose weight. What I recommend is you got to get your gut right. In order to get your gut right, you have to not be in the stressed out state. Okay, so this is chronic, low grade, unrecognizable state that you are in. This state produces a wiggity whack experience with your hormones, especially cortisol. So if you think that stress drives you, maybe it does. But if you find so much pleasure in stress, if it's serving you, then you are not going to be able to get out of that state. Therefore, you just give your power away, your solar plexus is done for, and your digestion is completely done. It's done. Like, there's no digesting anymore because you can't ever get out of the stressed out state, because that actually stems from generations and when you were in the womb due to the constricted breathing. So you're used to constriction, and when there's a constriction, there's fear. And because not just fear, but like from a physical nervous system reaction is fear of death. Your constriction of breath is going to make you feel like you are dying. But then you only know survival due to the restriction of breath. So you have survived this way. And that's where the brain technology and the brain work get to come in and serve us, so we don't allow our emotions and our conditioning to be the driving factor of how we think, feel, and treat ourselves, right? And the next one is not being ready. Now, how often do you say, oh, I'm not ready, I gotta be ready? Well, that's why you set an intention, you set a date, and then the specific cleanse that I have, you have a full week to look at the material, to start to study the material, to start to get yourself acquainted with what it is that you're gonna do. And then from there, then we go into phase one. And phase one is really all about weaning off of sugar, caffeine. So at that point, you're not even like detoxing the body yet. And then you prep. Spend a couple days prepping and getting ready, and then you can do 3 to 5 days of just eating the recommended foods, okay? And then from there, we reintroduce one thing at a time for a couple days. And so the reintroduction phase is so amazing. It is so amazing. But it can also be misleading too. And that's something that I would guide you through once we got to there, like why it would be misleading and what, like, you know, because what's important is you might have what is called SIBO. Now, SIBO is created from leaky gut. And leaky gut just really is about not having enough diversity in your gut. We need a diverse amount of junk in our gut. And oh my God, no, we don't have any. So then what happens with SIBO is the really important high vibe germs seep up into the small intestine and suck all your nutrients, and it eats all of the nutrition that you need for your body, so you begin to get malnourished. But here you are, one of the biggest things is watching what you are doing for probiotics, making sure you're not doing too many probiotics, because if you're putting too many probiotics in your body and you have SIBO, you are going to make the SIBO flare and be fired. You are going to feed that SIBO, and so you're still going to have bloating. You're still going to be sensitive to food. So yes, we have to work on the dysbiosis. But if you have SIBO, you have to really take that into consideration. And how we do that with a cleanse is by diversifying the gut microbiome by multiple different foods, and really making sure you are going organic. I love to do lots and lots of herbs. Herbal tea, things like that, just to speed up the healing process. So what I have here is I am doing a pure vegetable soup, okay? So this is what I'm doing to get ready, per se. Okay, so this is just something that's gonna help me ease into the cleansing process. So that is something that is extremely skipped. And really, especially if you are emotionally driven to do a cleanse on a loathing, self-hate energy, it's, oh God, it's gonna be so much work, and you're gonna even be more stressed and overwhelmed. Okay, so number 3, people make it more extreme than it needs to be. And really, there are more advanced options. And I will share them with you. I use a majority of the advanced options because I have cleansed for so long. But it's not necessary. Our guidebook provides that diversity for you to not need any of these other modalities that might just be way too harsh on your body at this point, okay? So they're more advanced. And then number 4, understanding how critical it is to have extra support and enhancing activities to really move these things. Dolly, no. Move these things through your body, so you're discreting them instead of reabsorbing them, because the toxins will need to be released. So there are specific activities that will enhance your toxic release. So, and then not planning proper to come off. So like I had mentioned, we do a process of reintroduction, and then this is not a way that, like, you should be able to get to the point where your microbiome is, and your gut is beautifully sealed, that whatever is in there can take care of anything foreign or not for your highest good, like, you know, red 5 and some of the oils and things like that, that you just really make things a lot worse. Once we get healed, then you can go about your life and be able to gauge and balance between the making sure you have enough diversity in your microbiome to be able to choose, have more choices to eat and not get sick. Okay? So, you know, and I recommend doing this probably every 6 months. You know, maybe if you just are not as good as you would like to be the first time around, then maybe wait 3 months and try it again. Also, usually your first time is going to be the best time. You're going to be on your game. You're going to like really follow the rules. Second time around, you're going to be like, well, I know it worked last time. Maybe I'll ease up here and eat, don't have to do this and don't have to do that. And it doesn't matter because this cleanse is going to work anyways. If you're doing enough other things between the cleanse as well, it's going to be really, really helpful. But I just want you to know that, because most people think that they're just going to get better. Well, a lot of times when we do things, we are the best right at the beginning, because we're not dealing with all of the life that bombards us when we start to loosen the attention to whatever it is that our goal, like, right? And so this is part of this HIT sweat sesh strategy too, is how you can start to recognize these patterns in yourself and how to work with patterns and the cycles. And mine all revolves around my workouts. And so how I know the cycle of when I'm the best, when things suck, when self-sabotage hits, things like that, is I know I just work in like 4 to 5 week increments, right? Week 1 is always the best. And then it's gonna take everything. Week 2, week 3, and week 4 to really embed what it is you did week 1. And that occurs in week 5 through an integration process of trusting, allowing, knowing, and liking yourself so much that that's what leads to self-love, is the know, like, and trust of thyself. That's what self-love is, okay? And so I'm super excited. Okay, so I'm using this cleanse to get ready. Now, if you have SIBO, just a disclaimer, like, make sure you check with some professional, okay? I'm certified. I'm not licensed. There's a difference, and things are different from state to state, what I can specifically say and what I can't specifically say. So just read any disclaimers. And if you're watching this, you agree to any disclaimers. Okay? So if you have SIBO, that's when you would do like the FODMAP food list. And it really, because if you have SIBO, good food can make it worse. Things like onions, things like garlic. And so then you're gonna have to go through that process of eliminating those things. But we don't want to eliminate them fully because we still want the germs. We just want them in the right place, back in the large intestine, not the small intestine. And so for me, I don't do any nightshades with my cleanse. I won't touch bananas. It's just not my thing. So what are some nightshades? Potatoes, peppers, oh God. Mostly potatoes and tomatoes. Those are the 3 that I really try to stray away from. They're really good, and they're all super easy to make in a garden in the summertime, and I have to limit how much of those things I have because I listen to my body. Like, all right, I've had enough of that. And so I'm using this as a way to just get some of the build up, the yuck out before I really get in and start to take care of the specific cells themselves. Now, if any of this interests you, I'm just scratching the surface because I'm talking about food, but when you come with me, it's everything. And if you have no spiritual connection, you are not going to be able to stick and stay to this. And that's where the biofeedback loop is creating so much mental health issues. And so when we have these mental health issues, it starts in the gut, because that is where all of our heavy chemicals are made. And so when you come with me, we don't just look at the gut as in your microbiome. We look at your gut as your freaking power center. You get to step into healing something that puts you in the place to make you love stress. Now, it could be something from your past, or it could be due to karmic and generational crap that is still in your cells. Whether you put it there or not is irrelevant. It's your body, and it's your time and your responsibility to take on some of this stuff. Plus, it's fun. Living the old way is not fun. So if you're like, oh my God, summer is coming up and I'm not going to be able to cleanse, like, oh, I have this event and that event. Let's shift that. Stop allowing those things to control your health. Stop allowing those things to be what creates your fun. How about you find the fun within? And in order for you to find the fun within, you can't have mental health issues. It's just not how you function. And so that's how we look at the gut. We look at the solar plexus, and we look at the gut on everything I do with my one-page playbook. My personal mission, my personal assignment is to work on the solar plexus. But how I rewire the reptilian brain is what comes from whatever power I take back, whatever I create, whatever wound I heal, whatever emotion I have and allow, is all going on within this area of our body, and it affects this area of our body. And so I do it with the intention to create a oneness between the brain and the gut. But I am specifically called to imprint new things into the reptilian brain. So in order to be able to imprint new things into the reptilian brain, why would you want to do that? Well, because the reptilian brain is keeping people in the stress state. That's where the biofeedback loop is strongest. We have that power. We got to start to work on our solar plexus and our gut and our power. We need to take our power back. We are not victims to the food. We're not victims to the food. I mean, we are, but how's that going to help us heal? By just being a victim to the food? No, I'm the victor. I'm going to create this human vehicle to be able to withstand anything, any glyphosate, any GMO, any produced food, anything, okay? But that takes mindset, that takes heart, that takes a deeper connection to my highest source, my personal guidance system. And then again, it comes down to my very DNA. Oh my God. Isn't that so fun? I love it. So with that being said, Dolly, do not bark. I have some super fun things to do today. Let me know if you have questions. We start June 5th and you will be rolling with me. So I will be the way shower. I will bring Ascension daily in a way I wouldn't bring Ascension daily to the natural world, but I will bring it to anyone who is embarking on this cleanse with me, because I'm going to share things with you that people don't share. I'm going to teach you things that is like being gate kept. And how do I know? Because I'm fucking gatekeeping it. I have a lot of things I'm gatekeeping. But, Dolly, no. But at the same time, not everybody deserves my love and knowledge. So I gotta stick to who I share it with, right? There's a difference. Again, let me know if you have questions. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna rollerblade. I'm gonna get my line mode. I'm gonna get my core workout in. I'm gonna really focus on my core, my source, all of that stuff. So let me know what questions you have, and I'll share a picture of this soup. So it's gonna consist of zucchini, mushrooms, red pepper, tomato soup, lots of oils, balsamic vinaigrette, tons of asparagus, and my favorite is the water chestnuts that I get to put in there. And I am putting a little bit of garlic in there. I think more of what needs to be healed on me is just, I think I got a little bit of leaky gut going on just because I have some acid. I feel acid. Well, the only way to feel acid is if you have some sort of leaky gut. Okay. I don't know. There's so many names for it, and but again, it goes back to the top 5 mistakes. Diet mentality. No. Okay, be intentional and create it as a therapeutic experience, spiritually, mostly. Starting before you're ready. You make it more extreme. Number 4, understanding how important extra support is. You want this to work the first time, especially if I said the first time is when you're always going to be the best. I know. Nobody's going to tell you that, right? Until you create a practice and you master it over and over and over again. Okay, and because it's harder, like the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th time, most of the time people give up versus understanding the compound effect. They got a little bit better at this here, a little bit better at this here. Maybe they slacked a little here, but at least they picked it up over here. And so in the end, they get to bring it all together. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I'm amazing. I actually followed all of the things that I committed to follow. Interesting, Brooke. Okay, see you on the inside.